He comes walking up to my car and says,
"Boy, don't make me tell you again that this is private property."
hello, welcome back to my channel. Subscribe. So this video, I'm going to talk about some weird things that have happened to me while doing Amazon Flex over the years. In case you haven't seen any of my other videos, I've been doing it for at least 5.5 years, going on 6, and I've had a lot of things happen to me, and this video is going to be called Learn from My Mistakes. So just wanted to talk about something that I said in a couple of videos ago about Amazon Flex. A few people got upset that I used the word ghetto. Like I went into a ghetto area and I didn't get any tips or something like that. And I mean, that was true, and I didn't mean to offend anybody, but you got to realize I've delivered everywhere. I delivered in Seattle for a while, and there's a city called Medina where Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos live in. So it's like one of the richest cities in the country, if not the world. And I've delivered to multi-million-dollar mansions and not gotten tipped. And I've delivered to low-income people's houses and have been given $20 tips in cash before, so it doesn't really matter. One time I went to a house in Medina. It was probably at least a $15 million house, and they had every single nice car that one could possibly dream of in their driveway and in their garage. I saw there was like a Rolls Royce, there was a Bentley, Lamborghini, and you know, the cheap stuff like Mercedes-Benz and BMWs and Range Rovers, and they had everything. You know, I've delivered to houses like that, and I think anything that's not that, I consider ghetto now. So I just throw that word around like it's nothing. But anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, first story I have is when I almost died in Washington State. I was doing a Prime Now delivery, and it's probably 6 in the morning, and it wasn't really snowing when I woke up. So I was like, cool, it's gonna be a good day. And it started snowing heavily as the next hour or two passed by. And I had a delivery way out in the middle of nowhere, and it was really, really snowing hard there. And I was at the top of a hill that was probably sloped like this. And I used to live in Alaska, so I was like, that's nothing. I used to live in Alaska, no problem. I know how to handle situations like this. And I didn't have, snow tires or anything, but I just was kind of cocky. And I was at the top of the hill, and there was a cliff right here, way down. And so I started going down, just not even using the brake, just going slowly. And about halfway down, I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll start pumping the brakes a little just to slow down. And I put my foot on the brake and nothing happened. I just kept sliding and sliding and sliding. And then I panicked and I really stomped on the brake and I started pumping the brakes. I pulled my e-brake and I spun around 360 and hit a snowbank. Like, I'd say I was about 50 feet from going over the cliff. So that's one weird thing that has happened to me. I've gotten threatened for being on private property. Another time in Washington also. It was a 4:30 in the morning delivery, so it was dark. It was dark no matter what time in Washington, but it was really dark at 4:30 in the morning, and the GPS wasn't working because I was in the middle of nowhere. Again, that happened a lot up there. And I pulled into this property and the GPS said I was in the right spot. So I parked and I got out, and this guy comes out and he goes, "You realize this is private property, right?" And I said, "Oh, okay, well, I'm just here for your delivery." And he's like, "I didn't order anything from Amazon." It's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. I'll leave, no problem." And so I left, and the GPS took me in a circle and it led me right back to that place. And it was too early in the morning to call. So I pulled up to the guy and I was just gonna ask him, are there any houses that are close by that are close to this address? And he comes walking up to my car and says, boy, don't make me tell you again that this is private property. And he might not have said boy, but it makes the story better. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So I said, forget it. So I called Amazon support and they guided me to the house step by step because whatever I was doing wasn't working. I probably could have gotten shot if I didn't have my Amazon vest. So I've dropped many products and broken them over the years while on deliveries. I'm talking about Prime Now, like groceries. I know many gallons of milk have been spilled, sometimes in my car. And one time, and these things will happen, and all you can do is tell the customer if they're available, sorry, just contact Amazon, and they can give you a refund or something. But one time I had a big jug of orange juice. It was one of the last few things I was taking to the guy, and he was sitting there on his porch, and it slipped out of my hand and it dropped onto the ground, and we both watched the orange juice just spill all over the sidewalk. And I just sat there and I said, sorry man, tell Amazon that one of the items was broken. I've been pulled over 2 times for speeding, and luckily I was wearing my Amazon vest, and one of the cops said, oh, okay, you're working for Amazon? All right, cool. I know you've got time constraints, so just try to slow down, okay? So that was cool. I've gotten 1 parking ticket. That was in Seattle. There was nowhere else to park, and there was a sign where it said you had to have a special placard in your car for commercial business, and I didn't, but I parked there anyway. I was only in there for 2 minutes, and I got a parking ticket when I came out. Oh well, it was $53. Sometimes I've given bags to the wrong address and shorted another order, and it's never been on purpose, obviously, but sometimes these things happen, and all you can do is just, if you want to call support, call them, but you just let it go, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you're close by. But most of the time you don't realize until it's too late. Sometimes the GPS can be wrong in the Amazon app, and you just have to flip it over to Waze or Google Maps or whatever you use. So sadly, I've gone to the wrong warehouse thinking I was at the right one for a block, and it was the wrong one, and I missed my block at the other place. So just make sure you know what warehouse you're going to for sure. I've had to replace 2 windshields. One time I was doing logistics deliveries. It was in the middle of nowhere in California this time. And it was at night and it was raining, and I didn't have a cell reception. So I couldn't make any of the deliveries. So I called support, and they said just to bring them back to the warehouse, and I still got paid even though I didn't deliver them. I've had 2 flat tires while doing this job. Last time was about a month ago. I was on the freeway and I had a bag full of groceries from Whole Foods and got a flat tire, and I pulled over as soon as I could by a gas station, and I was gonna have to get my car towed, and it was a big long mess. So I called support, and they said just return the packages whenever I could, even if it was the next day. You will be late every now and then. This just happened to me last week, and I've been doing this for how long now? I was 25 minutes away from the warehouse, and I figured it would only take me 20 minutes to get there, like it usually does. And I could have ran a red light like a half a second after it turned red, but I decided to stop, and that cost me the block. And I even, usually you can call support and have them clock you in, but this time they said they couldn't do it because the lady was new or something, and she said she couldn't, but I was like, yes you can, I've done this many times. And she's like, let me transfer you to someone else. And by the time they transferred me, it was too late, and I missed out on the block. If you do that too many times, you can get deactivated. So just be careful and show up on time, early if possible. And there will be some magical days when you're doing logistics and they don't have any packages for you to deliver, and you get paid for doing nothing. All you have to do is you have to do some steps in the app in order to get paid. But it's happened, I would guess, at least 10 times that I've gone to work and they're like, well, we don't have any packages for you, so just go home. It's like, oh, thank you. But yeah, those are some of the weird things that have happened to me while doing Amazon Flex. Hopefully you learned something, and I guess that's it. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.